Congratulations again to our 2023 Ginsburg Award winners. Now, it is my great honor and I take tremendous pleasure in welcoming the U.S. Special Envoy to monitor and combat anti-Semitism, Ambassador Deborah Lipstadt. Wait with the music, wait with the music. So what I want to do now is draw from a piece that I wrote to honor Ambassador Lipstadt with a short essay that was included in the latest edition of the Time 100. If you don't know, Ambassador Lipstadt was one of Time's 100 most important people of the year. Here's what I wrote, which I think is the most appropriate introduction. And again, I had the honor of writing the essay for her. In the book of Proverbs, there's a hymn that speaks of a woman of valor, Eshet Chayil in Hebrew, one who is strong and righteous and who also provides a safe home where Jewish values and traditions may thrive. As U.S. Special Envoy, Ambassador Lipstadt exemplifies this image, tirelessly working to protect Jewish communities and to build a world where all are safe and protected. A distinguished scholar, Ambassador Lipstadt courageously has taken on anti-Semitism on campus, in the courts, and in the halls of power. Now she is battling the oldest hatred at a moment when anti-Jewish hate has surged to record levels in the United States and around the world. Ambassador Lipstadt has aptly noted that anti-Semitism may start with the Jews, but it never ends with the Jews. And so her work, fearlessly calling on the international community to ensure that Jews everywhere can live safely and practice their faith freely, is critical, not only for Jewish people, but also for ensuring a society free of bigotry and intolerance for all people. Please join me in welcoming my friend, the very distinguished Ambassador Deborah Lipstadt.
Thank you. Thank you, Jonathan, for that gracious introduction, and also for the kind words in amongst the Time 100. I never expected to be in such a group, and it really was quite amazing. I was just telling people backstage that I was standing after having gone across the red carpet with another winner, because we have little badges, and watching Judy Blume, watching Steven Spielberg and this one. And the guy asked me, what do you do? And I told him, he said, oh, that's really impressive. That's really important. He said, I'm Johns Hopkins in Baltimore. When I come to Washington, can I visit you? I said, of course. And what did you do? And he said, oh, I'm head of a team that stopped an asteroid from going into Earth. So I said, well, the rest of us can go home now. It's a pleasure being here. Even though I deal with an issue which is of great concern to all of us in this room, probably concern to no group more so than those people in this room. Earlier this year, at the end of January, I was in Berlin, having come from visiting, spending a day in Auschwitz on Holocaust Remembrance Day. I was traveling with the second gentleman, Doug Emhoff. And we were in Berlin, and I was in various meetings. He was in other meetings. But that night at dinner, we were at the home of Ambassador Amy Gutmann, and a University of Pennsylvania graduates here, your former president, herself the child of a Holocaust survivor, a refugee from Germany. And when it came time for me to give my remarks, I noted that it was January 30th. Precisely the day on which, in 1933, Hitler had come to power. And that morning, I had convened a meeting, which was also attended by Mr. Emhoff, of all the special envoys in other parts of Europe who were dealing with a similar portfolio. Austria, Romania, the European Union, Germany, Argentina, OAS, Organization of American States, and so many others. And I said, we met in the place called the Topography of Terror. If you've ever visited Berlin, I'm sure you've been there. Very, very powerful museum, which is adjacent to where the SS, the Gestapo, and the SS and the Gestapo had their headquarters. And on one hand, the fact that we were there was a testament to the fact that the Nazis the Germans, the Third Reich, had not succeeded. They had succeeded in murdering 1 out of every 3 Jews alive on the face of the earth, but we were there, and we were there as government representatives, which was quite striking. On the other hand, the fact that we needed to be there was a sobering reminder that the problem is not over. I'm not going to spend a minute citing statistics to you, because the statistics I would cite, most of which would come from the ADL. So there's a little bit of tautological, you know the news is not good. Or as my family likes to say, Deborah works in a growth industry. And we can laugh about it, but it's that Jewish kind of humor. You know what a Jewish telegram is. Start worrying, details follow. But I think we have to recognize a number of things. First of all, I'm often asked, with great concern by people, and I was asked this before I became ambassador, before the president nominated me in the Senate, after some delay, you may have heard about it, confirmed me unanimously. And now, since then, I'm asked by people, is this 1938 redux? Or is this 1933? Are we entering the 30s? And many questions I can't answer unequivocally. But that question I can answer unequivocally, and the answer is no. And there is a striking difference between then and now. And even as we fight this battle, we should keep that in mind. I am, as I mentioned ago, nominated by the president, confirmed by the Senate. It's the highest rank that you can reach. We have representatives also, as I managed, or I have colleagues or counterparts in 16 or 17 other countries, asked by their governments: Italy, Belgium, Germany, Croatia, Organization of American States, the EU representing 27 countries, et cetera, dealing with this issue. And let's remember that in the 1930s, this animus was being projected and compelled by governments, whether it was governments in Germany or in Poland, other countries. This was government-sponsored. It doesn't mean that there wasn't a public that went along with it, but it was coming from the top. Today, it's a different story. Today, the governmental leaders recognize the danger that anti-Semitism poses. And I think that's a significant factor. And the fact that our Congress raised this position that I hold, the office that I hold, to a level of an ambassador, and they did it before I was nominated, so it's nothing to do with me, it's troublesome because they felt it was necessary, but the fact that they were able to do that and get that confirmed with no significant opposition is also quite striking. Imagine if there had been someone in with my status and my position in the State Department in 1938 after Kristallnacht, when Jews were desperate for some place to go. Imagine if there had been someone there when the SS St. Louis was off the coast of Miami, being turned away by the Coast Guard. Imagine in 42, when trains were rolling across Europe and Jews knew what was coming. Or in 44, when the Nazis, knowing they were going to lose, the Soviets were coming from the east, and they knew there was going to be a landing from the west in the not too distant future, and they were losing on all fronts, still managed to deport and murder over 400,000, about 400, I think 26,000 Hungarian Jews. They deported 500,000 and murdered over 400,000 of them. Imagine in 1944, when we had confirmation of the existence of gas chambers at Auschwitz, and people were begging the United States to bomb the gas chambers. Yes, it would have taken the lives of people in the camps, but those people in the camps were hoping, as the bombers flew over to bomb other locales near Auschwitz, that they would drop a bomb there to send a message. There would have been someone to say, this cannot stand, this shall not stand. So that is a major difference and something that should give us, as we say in Hebrew, chizuk, strength. It should strengthen us. It should give us confidence or fortitude that we're not out there alone. But let me add another element, and again, on some level, to paraphrase the Bard, it's bringing, or to borrow from the Bard, from Shakespeare, it's bringing coals to Newcastle to tell a group such as yourself. But as good as government representatives can be, as hard as I work, and I thought being a professor was hard, piece of cake, compared to this, and as assiduously as I fight this issue, and we're hoping for, to complete fairly soon, a domestic plan, as was mentioned earlier, a strategy for fighting anti-Semitism. It won't be sufficient unless it is accompanied by the voices of the American public and the public in every other country. Government can only do so much. We need other people, good people, to stand up and speak out. And that includes you. I mean, here I am saying to you, the most devoted members of ADL who are here doing this work. But whether you hear it at the gym, in the post office, some of us still go to the post office, wherever you go, I don't know, the supermarket that we still go to, in a meeting, on the carpool line, over a game of bridge, I don't know where and when, someone makes a crack, someone says something, call them out. If they say it innocently, educate them. If you think it's otherwise, take them on. That doesn't mean you have to punch them in the face, but you have to fight and fight smartly. We have to make it clear that it's not acceptable. I hear too often from people in different realms in media, especially when I'm being interviewed, you know, when the cameras are off, my child experienced this or experienced that. That's the normalization of anti-Semitism. And no government can stop that. That calls for good people everywhere saying, this shall not stand. This cannot stand. Enough is enough. It may start with the Jews, but it never ends with the Jews. And one last point. Remind people, this is not just about protecting the welfare of Jews. If it were that alone would be sufficient. If you have a vulnerable community, and I know you'll be gathering with other vulnerable communities on Tuesday for a rally, a vulnerable group in your midst, it's the government's job, it's the administration's job to protect them. But anti-Semitism is the canary in the coal mine of democracy. I repeat that. Anti-Semitism is the canary in the coal mine of democracy. If you value democracy, you must fight anti-Semitism. The anti-Semite believes Jews control everything: banks, judiciary, police, governments, media. They believe democracy is a sham. If you value the democracy in which you live, then you will fight anti-Semitism. If not now, when? Thank you very much.